Girl, say yeah!
Look at that big, juicy booty.
Hot like a tamale!
Be offended.
Do you love black people? Negro.
You know the thing.
Here, next.
Don't be rude. You ain't black.
Shawn Cav.
You're going to have a flame coming out of your butthole.
Heartfelt.
A man and a woman.
What is up, dude?
What's going on?
What's up, dude?
It's still craziness going on here. The house is just nuts.
Oh, yeah. Understandable. Oh, you are now a co-host, sir.
I saw the invite.
Yay. Okay, so why is shit crazy?
Well, because I have a work trip for tomorrow. I mean, like, it really shouldn't be that crazy. I've booked these trips and I've done much longer, more extensive, and more involved trips. But it just seems like every possible, I don't know, hurdle in the way has just been like an issue. Like just getting in touch with anybody, and I'm like, what's the deal with these guys? I'm like, because I'm going out to try and meet up with some guys from like T-Mobile, and it's like, what's the deal with them? Are they like just like, I don't know, flaky? Or are they just not getting back to me? What's the deal? And like they're just slow. They just don't respond very quickly. But my entire trip relies on them getting back to me and letting me know that, like, all right, yeah, they're going to be on site and what time they plan on being there, because I have other places I have to be and other people I have to meet too. So it's like, but like, that's the most important visit. I have to meet with them. So then it's like, what a pain.
Well, I mean, you can't really blame them. They're probably running on T-Mobile service. So,
well, I have T-Mobile service, and I do just fine responding to everybody. I'm just thinking that they probably don't have T-Mobile service. Like, oh, sorry, we didn't get those messages.
Yeah, we're on AT&T. We're still on Singular.
Yeah, we never decided to get the new SIM card or convert anything over.
Yeah, exactly. We're on PacBell.
I was just watching. I don't know about you, but like, did you used to watch any of that like American Horror Story stuff?
I think I watched a couple of the first episodes, but like, I'm not the hugest horror fan. Like I like some horror stuff, but like mostly it's like the campy stuff and like stupid stuff like that. So I mean, my wife watches it a lot and she loves it. So
okay, well, campy's fine. I mean, because I love like all things horror, but like definitely the campy stuff is always interesting, and I feel like American Horror Story is very campy in general. Okay. And like the show itself, like the original show that was like American Horror Story, those were okay for the first couple of seasons, and then after that it got to be really lame, where like they tried to always like one up themselves by like tying in old seasons and old characters and trying to make the whole thing jive.
Is it like a different cast or like different?
No, like, so the cast is always the same, but what changes each time is the story. So it's supposed to be non-interchangeable seasons. So like the season is its own thing, and then
so it's like the same cast but different characters.
Yes. So they always like they have a new story the next season, which I like that idea, so it's like, every season it's something new, so you don't ever have to like get burned out of like characters or like a storyline, or like kind of like The Walking Dead. Like how stupid did that show get after like season 3 or 4?
Hey, like, know what? That is one of my favorite shows.
No. So like I said, it was really, really good all the way up until Alexandria. When they went to Alexandria, that shit went downhill so fast. Like
there were a couple seasons that were I would definitely say, but the thing with The Walking Dead that I like is that it doesn't center fully around zombie stuff. It has a good it has a good way of like there's some things that definitely could be done without for sure, but it has a good way of explaining like other things that would be in the world of like a zombie apocalypse, like because obviously they're zombies. You're gonna have to fucking.
Oh
deal
yeah,
with
and like the
that. But
marauders and stuff like that. And I totally understand like that element of like The
Just,
Walking
like, 'cause
Dead.
you
It's
have to,
supposed to be
like-
post-apocalyptic. I understand.
Yeah, so you have to deal with like the other humans because like it comes to a point.
Yeah, well,
where it's,
that's
like,
where
it's not the
they
zombies.
yeah, and that's where they started doing it right. Like when they had the one dude with the eye patch or whatever, right? The governor or whatever his
Oh,
name
the
was.
governor. Yeah.
Yeah, like so, like when they had like an actual villain. Like
Yeah.
the show was pretty
Oh,
fucking
dude,
cool.
Negan? Oh my!
I never watched all that, but like I didn't make it that
It's
far
good.
just because I just got so sick of it. But like the
Negan
reason,
might be one of like the coolest fucking like human villains in any because it's really hard to like not like him. Like obviously you don't like him because he does some horrible shit, but then like the way he is and how he talks and all that, it's like it's really fucking hard not to like him because he's fucking hilarious.
fair enough. Well, like if I ever decide I have downtime and like want to like get back into watching that, maybe I'll muscle through like some of the bullshit that I couldn't
There's
stand.
some
But
annoying tropes and annoying shit that goes on there, but for the most part, like it's pretty dang good.
well,
But anyway.
and I'll touch on the Walking Dead stuff again in a little bit because I actually went to like one of their like Walker Stalker event things and met like a bunch of the cast and stuff. And
Oh, nice.
yeah, well, like, so you'd be surprised just like who was actually cool and who was actually pieces of shit, you know. But like,
Yeah.
no. So getting back to the American Horror Story thing, so they have like this other thing since like the main show. I don't know. I guess I got kind of burnt out of that one or something like that, just like having to constantly write full season things. Now they do this thing called American Horror Stories, which every episode is like an hour-long story. So like every one is different. And I'm like, it's super campy because they have to wrap it up in like an hour. Okay.
It's kind of like scary stories told in the dark kind of thing, almost.
Yeah, along those lines, and like
Yeah.
I would even say kind of goosebumpy, you know, like where it's like they have to like have like the story arc happen like pretty quickly, and then So with all of that, like hold on one second.
Like,
All right, sorry about that.
no, you're good.
Yeah,
So
but
it's like
so like
it's
what
like a
what
movie in a TV episode, kind
yeah,
of.
yeah, yeah. So like they have to, or do you remember like Masters of Horror? Like very much
Yeah.
like Masters of Horror, like which I still love that series. It was very campy again, still, but like it was cool, and like because they had like big time directors. Anyway, I'm going off all these different tangents. I was
That
watching.
is the whiskey capitalist.
Yeah, I know. It's like here's a fray of a circle.
Here's a point. Let's talk about 15 things around it.
Well, like so I'm watching it, like maybe the latest episode, which I don't know what season it is, but it's like episode 5 or whatever. It's centered around the whole like story of like Bloody Mary, and I'm watching it, and I just can't get into this at all because like I'm seeing what they did, and they made it super kind of like woke. And I just it immediately sucks me out of the whole story because like just like all right. So first off, it's like regular old generic suburbia. So like your regular kind of like, you know, house every like, you know, so much like cul-de-sacs. Like it's not anything like Center City or nothing like that. But the entire cast is like black. The entire cast is like 100% black. There's I think I counted like 2 like extras that were like in the classroom as students that were like white, and then there was one history like kind of like instructor, or maybe it's just like there was a white guy that was working at the museum who like had information that like, you know, she was gathering info for like trying to end Bloody Mary and stuff like that. And like to me it just kind of sucks me out of the story because like, you know, this isn't realistic. Like it's this, I feel like I'm watching Stand and Deliver, where like this should be like an inner city high school, but like this wasn't an inner city. This is like, this doesn't really exist. And then like where's the diversity? Where's like, I don't know, like real life, you know? But like the one thing I always keep on thinking about is like, if you were an alien and you sat down and you watched like primetime television, you would think that like white people were like scarce or rare to ever come around, like or come by. Like they would just be almost like non-existent.
It's like, hey, you know what? Anyone can make whatever they want. You know what I mean? Like that's fine. But it's like, it's just annoying that it's like pushed that way. It's just
yes, and that's really my point. My point is that it's like, you know, why is it being pushed this way? Where like, you know, I don't know, every single person was like, you know, I think, and also like the casting was like very much heavy on black female. So I thought that was an interesting thing as well, because I mean, granted, you know, the whole Bloody Mary thing is very much like a girl's, like, I don't know, what would urban legend? It's like, yeah, like it's like a thing they would do at like summer parties. So that kind of makes sense. Like,
yeah,
I guess like to have like heavy on like the female cast or whatever that, but it just felt weird. Like the whole thing, just like I don't know. I noticed it. It kind of like bothered me a little bit. Not to say that it's like, you know, oh they can't have an all black episode. No, go right ahead. I mean, like how many shows did we watch that were like all black but didn't really push like the elements of black heavily? Because we used to like, you know, as kids like watching like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. That was 100% black, but it was fantastic. You know, and you know, like watching. I don't know,
it's just
Family Matters.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's just like, dude, like, when it's pushed that way, and when there's certain, like, it's obviously like a political thing. You know what I mean? Saying, you know, when it's pushed that way and pushed in your face, then it's just like someone telling you something you want to do is the exact opposite. That's just human nature.
And I definitely feel like it has something to do with like the culture that we live in, like today's like culture, like what we are constantly having to deal with, and what we're constantly being like told, like, you know, like the white man bad, you know, type deal.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Straight white males are like the pinnacle of evil and this and that, especially if they're conservative. Ooh.
It's like, dude, you know, yeah, exactly. It's like that, you know, they're just, you know, Trump, you know, isn't president anymore, so they have to have a boogeyman, which they tried it with Joe Rogan, and then they try it with Tucker Carlson.
Yeah, they went after him pretty hard, that's for sure.
Exactly, and it's like, dude, you realize that he probably agrees with most of the points that the left, who is trying to make him the boogeyman, like, you know what I mean? Like, he probably agrees with a lot of the points that you make, but he's just like, don't be disingenuous, don't lie about shit, you know? But I don't know, man. It's just annoying. It's like, dude, okay, yeah, I'm not gonna, you know, if you want to go through history and you want to talk about shit, yeah, of course, every race, every color, every creed has done fucked up shit before. But I mean, you know, there really wouldn't be too much of a country if it wasn't for white people. Like, I don't mean to say that like that any other like race didn't help, but like, you gotta at least be like, hey, dude, like, thanks. You know what I mean?
Those damn Caucasus Mountains, like that's the problem, right?
Exactly. It's like, okay, well, I'm not gonna say, you know, slavery was horrible. Obviously, it's horrible that you even need to like say that as a thing.
I know. I was literally about to say the same thing. It's the world that we live in. Like, it's a shame that we actually have to state that.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, that was bad, but it's not like the white people that came over here and with slavery and everything, like, just picked them up off of the fucking the prairie or the plains, you know, in Africa, and just took them on a fucking boat. They got sold from black slave owners.
Yeah, actually, there's a movie that's being made, or maybe it's coming out soon, called The Homies. And it's literally, that's the name of like the tribe in Africa that would enslave other black Africans and sell them to like white ship owners and whatnot, and just ship them across over to like the Caribbean and South America and southern US and whatnot. So like, back then it was probably even still the colonies, you know, but like, we're talking about like, this is just crazy.
Yeah, and then also, I think the first slave that had been freed and then got his own land and got all that, he immediately got slaves, black slaves. So it's like, okay, I mean, where are we? Like, was it a human nature thing, or was it?
You'll have to look up. You're gonna have to look up that trailer so you know what I'm talking about. Because that movie is it's interesting, and like there's a lot of like history to that, which I think would make it an interesting talking point at some point. Hey Pixie, thank you for joining. And movies, we're bringing you up here.
Set up Pixie.
Yeah, Pixie, if you want to join and join us in any kind of conversation, feel free. We're just talking movies, and I was literally going on about American Horror Story just a minute ago, and we went down this rabbit hole of like how like demographics are being portrayed in television and whatnot. I was bringing up the fact that like, if you were an alien and you sat down and you watched like primetime television, you would have like the demographics and perception of like percentages throughout the entire country like totally skewed, and it's so strange, but like I don't know, it's just an interesting like thought that I had when I was watching the
I would
show
think
today.
like, yeah, if I was like from the planet Uranus, I'd be like, yeah, like I got 8 white people, 8 black people, 8 Hispanic people, 8 Asian people, that's not the demographics at all.
Yeah, it's I don't know, it's just funny, man. It's
well, like if you go to other countries in the world, okay, like if you go to Japan, all right, you're going to see primarily Japanese people on television, over there. If you go like I've been to Mexico before, and like you watch Mexican television. People. I mean, like Mexican can be like a little diverse and whatnot, but it's all Spanish speaking. That's for sure. It's all mostly Hispanic. But like there's definitely a demographic thing that we're kind of like missing, or we're being told something different when it comes to the U.S. where we're not.
Yeah, like you watch like a telenovela. There's not like a Hispanic guy and an Asian guy and an Indian guy and a white guy and a black guy. Like it's mostly Hispanic right there because they're not worried about buying the world a Coke.
And I mean, I can understand it. I can understand it because, U.S., it is a melting pot. We have a lot of different cultures and a lot of different languages spoken here, and a lot of, different, race, color, creed, sex, all of it.
Religions, all of it, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what America is. Cool. So it's not an issue, but it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, dude, to be pushed that we are this thing that we aren't, I guess.
But at the same time, we also tend to demonize the straight white males.
Right, exactly. Yeah, if they want to like promote harmony and peace and all those getting along and whatnot, it shouldn't be at the expense of a particular race. It shouldn't be at the expense of the white race, the Asian races, the Hispanics, black. It should like everyone should be equal and whatnot. It's not. It's not a good idea to go, as a black person, to go and say, hey, we were persecuted for all these decades. So the cure for that is we need to persecute this other race for decades. Surely that'll set everything right. Any
better than the person that you're trying to accuse of. I'm not saying that the accusation isn't founded in reality and truth, but it's like you're no better than that person.
The difference to me really boils down to understanding and accepting meritocracy versus affirmative action. Being able to say like, all right, someone has worked and earned that position or that role, or if we're talking like television, there's there's definitely a wide spread of different types of people that go into entertainment for all kinds of different reasons. And, not everyone's trying out for the same roles. Not everyone gets the calls for the same things and whatnot, television shows, but the right person for the right role, I think always should be a factor, and what have they done to earn that role and whatnot. If they're the right person for the spot, then they should get it, not just hey, you know what we need a lesbian woman to fit this role. Is why do they have to be a lesbian?
Because you're setting them up for failure right there. I mean, because then it puts the target on their back that, hey, that person didn't really earn the role.
We don't have one from the LGBT community. Can we get one of those in the cast?
Right.
That's not right to me.
Instead of checking a box, now if the role that you're trying to go for is a lesbian Asian woman, lesbian, black woman, lesbian, whatever, and you want that perspective from someone who's gone through that experience in their real life, and you want them to bring that into the role, then understandable completely.
Oh, that would make it more authentic. We're talking about authenticity then of a filmmaker. That's Quentin Tarantino levels of like filmmaking.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like if you're trying to do that, then cool. Then I get it. Then it makes it even. Then the movie might have more of an impact because it's coming from someone from that area. But if you're just doing it to check a fucking box, then then how many people are going to see through your bullshit?
Well, story should come first. Story should come first.
Yeah.
Capturing the audience's, attention and getting their interest and drawing them into this world or this story. That should be priority number one without exception. And then if like you were saying, if the story has a lesbian character, has a Native American character, has if you're writing the story like, oh man, if I had a Native American character right here, this would really just make the story so more robust.
Yeah.
Then it doesn't feel forced.
I'm glad you brought that up, movies, because I watched that movie Prey, that was on Hulu, the new Predator one, and I think maybe we may have talked about that at some point before, but a little bit. But I'm telling you, so that one really bothered me because when I expected them to show Native Americans, I expected to see Native Americans on screen. Instead, they had Hispanics and whatnot, or just the one drop rule, where it was all right, they're basically just white, but here's one drop of Native American.
Wait, so Elizabeth
they
Warren
wrote in the cast. They wrote it. They said that they hired all Native American cast, and it's that's not true. That's not true at all.
Have, something Sanchez, and you're like, bro.
right, yeah. Exactly.
And the other part that bothered me was we're talking about authenticity and filmmaking and stuff like that. Why couldn't we go down the road of Apocalyptico again, where it's wow, that was so authentic feeling, where I was sucked into that movie of what was going on with the Mayans and all that, the Aztecs. That was such a great, and also the thing was subtitled with they were speaking in their own language. Why couldn't we have something like that instead? These kids felt like they were from East LA and they're running from a predator.
Yeah. To me, it's you brought up of action for a second, and that whole concept, in theory, again, I've said so many times on these Twitter Spaces or in our live streams, I understand and I can empathize with some of the ideals of more left-leaning thinking, but the execution usually is horrible. And with affirmative action, I can understand the sentiment in it. I can understand wanting to be equal and giving opportunities to quote unquote marginalized communities and minority communities and all that. I can understand that, but at the same time, what you're doing is you're instilling that instead of working hard and earning where you're coming from, the only reason why the later on in life when they come to the real world, say colleges or say this or that, when they come into the real world and they realize they're not going to get that job because the college degree or the spot they got in college was because of affirmative action. They got it because of their skin color, and they realize that they don't have the skills, they don't have the education, they don't have those things that they're supposed to get in order to get that fucking job. Then later they're going to be like, well, who the fuck am I? Am I even worth it? You know what I mean? It's
exactly. It eats away at their confidence right there. It's like the old phrase, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. I believe that whoever came on affirmative action, I'm gonna choose to believe they had good intentions right there. Exactly. But affirmative action had its time and place. There was a time, I believe, when it truly was needed, but people weren't smart enough to go, okay, all right, now it's not needed anymore. It's time to phase the thing out. And
when something gets taken advantage of, it never goes in the right direction.
Yeah, exactly. And people start dictating okay, which minorities are really a minority? Asian people, they have a culture of, keeping their family honor, and so in turn they earn a lot of degrees. They excel academically and intellectually, and so they get alienated out, by a lot of the Black Lives Matter and a lot of the the black activists. Yeah, by colleges, because Asians, you guys are entirely too successful.
they
you're doing too good.
Higher. they have to score higher on tests. Like if you actually look on test scores and like what this group has to score and this group has to score, it's like, okay, so you're literally saying that you're trying to say that we're all equal, but Asians have to score higher, whites have to score in the middle, and then blacks have to score lower, like in order to get into these colleges and have on these tests. It's like, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to say that Asians are smarter than black people? Like, because that's what you're doing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's the soft bigotry of low expectations towards black people.
Kamala said in a recent speech where she was saying that, like, you know, they're trying to push equity over equality because they feel that the equity will create more equality, which is just it's so much irony when you think about it, because it's like that's not what the sentiment is at all. Like, you know, they're trying to push people ahead so that way we all have the same finish line. It's like that's not how any of this works. That's not like you put more work in, you move up. Like that's why most people start off in a lower income job, like when they first like get a job at like 15, 16 years old.
I can't believe a genius like Kamala doesn't understand human nature.
Yeah, I don't understand. I'm shocked by that as well. But you know, so when I was getting at that, I was like, you know, so when I was like 15, I worked at like a McDonald's. You know, I just worked on the weekends and made money and put it away, and like, you know, I just kind of like that was like my first job ever. You know, and then like from there it was like working at a grocery store, and then from there it's like you move up to like a department store, and then I was like, oh, then I got a job as like a third key at a shop, and then like next thing you know, then I was like an assistant manager somewhere, and then I had my own store, and then like it just kind of like you don't start at the top and then like, all right, well now figure it out. Like now, like no, you had to start somewhere. You work your way into like these different roles, and like you learn. But if you jobs. But if you're given that you know high paying job, or that like without having the skill or the knowledge or anything of working your way up or having that, then not only are you going to fail, like for the most part, 9 times out of 100, you're going to fail at doing that job. So you not only is it going to affect the rest of the people that work under you or work for you, and they're going to think you're an idiot. You're also going to feel like shit because you're failing, and then you're not going to be able to move up from that point because your quality of product will suffer, and then that's going to suffer the business in general.
Yeah.
Like everything of what you're pointing at is 100% right, Ian. I'm just saying that like, you know, to add to that is the fact that like, you know, like if you don't know what you're doing, you can't succeed. You know, that's just the way it is. Like you need to have gone through the ropes. You need to have kind of like seen what could happen to understand you know, what's possible. And like, you know, and this goes with like any type of a job, you know, so like when we get back into the whole entertainment element of things and stuff like that, it's like you can't just immediately become like, I mean, I guess it worked for some people, but like it's very rare to like just jump right to the top. You know, people like Harrison Ford, which are just kind of like, all right, that was a freak occurrence, you know.
Well,
but like,
but I mean, if you think about Harrison Ford, he worked.
He was a carpenter.
He was a carpenter, and he was working like as crew on, I think, American Graffiti, and then who was it? Was it Spielberg or was it George Lucas? Who?
George Lucas.
Yeah, it was George Lucas. Okay, yeah, and George Lucas saw him and like put him in the movie and like, and it was based on his looks because movies are a very visual medium. So they're like, he has a good look. He has a physically pleasing aesthetic for what I'm trying to go for this character. So they put him in because of that. Now,
but I think they lucked out with that. They absolutely lucked out. Where like, oh, this guy actually put the work in and like he can actually do the job. Now, if this guy had like stage fright or like couldn't like, it was like illiterate or just like had like a terrible voice, like, hey everybody, it's me, Harrison Ford. You know, like if he sounded like
Zowie, thanks for having me in your movie.
Hey, it's me, Han Solo. You know, like God, no, please. If
Harrison Ford sounded like Gilbert Gottfried, he would not be.
Thanks for having me in your movie. All right, I love playing Han Solo.
That's no moon.
Affleck, get my Millennium Falcon.
Oh wow! But yeah, just saying, like, so like, it's visual, but there are other elements that go along with that.
We were talking about last week with Bryce Dallas Howard. You know what I mean?
Well,
like, but it's the same thing. Like, okay, like so. Her dad is Ron Howard, so she has that nepotistic like element in there to where she could get what she wanted because of who her dad is, but she decided, like, and credit to her, she decided to start working, you know, and try and building up her movie, you know, repertoire, whatever. But her resume, there we go, one of those French words. And
resume.
It starts with an R. Maybe there's a card at the end. No, but no. So like she started trying to build that up, but then she got mad because while she did that, she wasn't as big as this other actor that had done the same thing, but was scaling his career better with Chris Pratt. And so she got mad because she wasn't getting paid as much. And it's like, dude, you're literally getting paid 20% less than he was, but you have nowhere near 20% less. You know what I mean? Like you're like 80% less of his resume that he has on you for you. Yeah. So like, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah, and people aren't rushing out of their house to go see a Bryce Dallas Howard movie, right? You know, I mean,
exactly.
She's never been a headliner
as soon as they attach Chris Pratt's face or his name to like something, like there's a huge following of, besides like Parks and Rec, you know, like just like Guardians of the Galaxy, or even like some of the other stuff that he's done. Like I actually like Tomorrow War. I thought Tomorrow War was pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good movie. It's not like an intellectual experiment. I mean, I don't need every movie I watch to be a TED Talk.
Yeah, no, exactly. it was just like an action movie with aliens in it. It's like, okay,
hold on. Sometimes you want to just watch a movie to escape the fucking crazy world that we live in.
Right. Exactly.
That's weird.
Yeah, yeah. You don't want every movie to be an cool special. You know, it's like it's called escapism, folks. You know, and you want to sometimes lose yourself in like an alien battle or something like that. You know, just turn your brain off because, I mean, I'm sure you two can both relate. Like, your day sucks up way too much of your brain power in the first place. You just got to unplug and watch something that lets you escape.
Yeah, exactly. No, okay. Real quick. Speaking of escapism. And I just want to check with you, movies. Have you done your homework and watched the rest of Stranger Things?
I was in mid homework when I joined the Space Tonight. I just got done with episode 6 of season 4. So I got 3 episodes left.
Ooh, you are right in the good stuff. I literally just finished it a couple days ago.
Oh yeah, it's damn good. So good. It's damn good. Yeah, I can't wait to discuss it.
Dude, those last 2 episodes, I was sitting there just like on the edge of my seat, like, oh my god, this is so good.
We decided, like Ian and I were talking, and we're going to when we do the discussion, we're going to probably go like season by season, kind of discuss like I guess the development of the show, and then we can probably get into more like overall like thoughts and opinions. And then, towards the end of all that, also Ian's got like the different predictions that have been floating all over the internet as well that we'll be able to discuss, which will be fun.
Yeah.
But but the reason why I kind of brought that up too is obviously to check on that, but also you said escapism, which like Stranger Things is escapism. Like it escapes everyone back to the nostalgia of the '80s and all that shit that goes on, and honestly, because especially the world we live in with all the fucking woke crap that's going on, especially all the new shit that's going on, it really surprised me that throughout all 4 of the seasons, there has been maybe 1 or 2 spots where I was like, that was woke and extra. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
But everything in there is pretty much just like, no, that's just that they didn't try and interject anything in there.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that.
It's pure fun. It's pure fun. I mean, you can tell the Duffer Brothers. They just they're just like I think they're calling back. They're harkening back to like when they were kids and they would watch a movie or a TV show. I hear they're like obviously big fans of Spielberg. When you go on and you watch E.T. or Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, but like you're not sitting there thinking about the stock market and politics and you got to fight with your mom last week and whatnot. You're like, holy shit, pull that guy's heart out of his chest. Holy shit. You're like,
this dude, this thing has no face and like 80 rows of teeth. Like, this is awesome. Like, like the only couple of things that like, they kind of cemented that in this town of Hawkins, like everyone's like a Reagan Bush, like, you know what I mean? So like little kind of things with the Reagan Bush things. And then there was that one Mondale for Dustin's parents or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but isn't it kind of funny that the only Mondale, house sign was the single mom? That kind of fun.
Yeah, that makes all the sense in the world.
The single mom with the fat kid with no teeth and a cat. Like, I just thought that was kind of funny. Like,
the one probably depending on the government the most, the least self-sufficient in the town,
Yeah, exactly.
Depending on mommy and daddy government.
Yeah, it's definitely
really
nice.
Like black-white stuff. You know what I mean? Like, the only thing that I really saw was Robin, the chick that worked at School. She said, like, there was something she said where it was like a sort of like women, feministy, whatever. But it was so light that I was like, well, I mean, I guess they had to put something in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they put a little something in there. It's not that big of a deal. When it's constantly being crammed down your throat is when it's an issue. Like we were talking about the shows earlier. It's like, oh God, it just
they got to let a little bit in there because I'm just picturing like the writers, or the writers' room around the table, and they're all just itching to put as much woke shit into this show, and the Duffer Brothers are trying to hold them back. And all the woke people are like, please, let me put something woke. Let me put some messaging in this, please. They're like, no, get the fuck up. We better let them put a little bit in there. Otherwise, they're going to go fucking manic.
Yeah,
well, it's just like if you guys watched the last season of The Boys, where, I don't know, movies, have you seen that one?
I have, yep.
Yeah. And like, first off, way too much gay stuff going on in that last season. That was like way over the top.
Hero-gasm. Holy shit.
Hero-gasm was insane. Like, and also that's the one that made me feel uncomfortable watching it, because I was watching it on a flight and I got like two people sitting next to me. I'm in the middle seat. I'm just got dildos flying all around on the screen.
Well, I thought it was hilarious. Like, I heard like one of the backstories is, I can't remember who they were interviewing from the show, but they were talking about how awkward it was, like all the assistant directors and all the prop people, like, when they're filming Hero-gasm, and they're like having to direct the actors. Okay, yes, hey, young lady, would you get back on his cock over here? And then we're gonna need you to put the dildo back in his ass. Like trying to get the scene all queued up to where they left off in the last day. God. How awkward it was.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't seen The Boys yet, but you guys have influenced me to skip it.
Yeah. Well, so like that fourth season, they really tried to push the whole fact that like the equivalence of like Homelander to Trump. They tried to like equate like Homelander to Trump, and all of Homelander's followers were like the MAGA crowd essentially.
Yeah, I think they even had red hats, didn't they?
Yeah, they had red hats. It was like God, Country, Homelander. Like on like the hats.
I saw something where like one of the I don't know if that's Homelander. He's like the blonde haired dude. Is that Homelander?
Yeah.
Okay, where he like kill someone. Like,
he blasts their head open for throwing a bottle at his kid, and then the MAGA people are like, yeah. So like essentially they're trying to say that like like Trump can commit murder, and the MAGA people will be like, this is awesome.
Well, it depends on who it is. I mean, if Trump took an AR-15 off Fauci's dome, I could probably be convinced that some people will be like, yeah, way to go, Trump.
Let's leave the retirees alone. Okay.
Yeah, right.
We here at the Whiskey Capitalist do not condone any type of behavior that Movies America is referring to.
No, I have to say I don't want even one hair harmed on Fauci's head or any people that try to destroy this country. Nope. I want total peace and harmony.
No,
that's right.
No, I don't have words right
it's
now.
Not what we stand for. It's not what we believe in.
I was told never to lie. Okay, I was told never to lie.
Yep. I swear on my Fauci Bible at my Fauci altar.
I swear by the science.
Yeah. I am the science. Get your mask on.
Yeah, it's like no, we are making fun of you fucking bridge
the
troll.
fact that this guy he made the attempt to try and spread the fear of monkeypox is just ridiculous. Like literally do like
2.0 for him.
Like you didn't even bother to tell anybody, how does one contract monkeypox. And like then like people, like there's still people out there that are confused or just don't know what to believe because they're hearing one story where it's like, oh, it's just as contagious as this or that or whatever. But it's like, no. You essentially need to get it from like, you know, touching an infected or open sore, or you need to be basically like having gay sex and like
be butt fucking some other gay.
Yeah. It's
exactly.
like this is essentially like but that's like the problem that we're facing today. Where like I literally got an email today for my kid who's starting kindergarten, and there's a whole paragraph in there about the warnings of monkeypox, and they said now some people say that it's not required, but some parents are getting vaccines for their children for monkeypox. I'm like, oh my god, like do they? And then they go into like how one would contract it, and they go through all the different things, and they even include intimate, like touching and exchanging of bodily fluids in an intimate way. I was like, so like now like oh
You're
my
okay
god,
with kid fucking?
oh my god, like yeah, it's like if this email is going out to like kindergarten to fifth grader, and like this is all being included in there. It's like
you should send that to Libs of TikTok.
It's like, what the fuck?
Right.
I'm literally not kidding. Like, you should literally send that email and be like, hey, Libs of TikTok.
Yeah, well, it's like we're talking about like one half of a sentence in like the email that refers to that aspect of how you contract it. So they're not lying by how you contract it. Like they're including that in the email. But but the thing is that it's included in
out.
Yeah, right. No, the problem that I have with it is the fact that it's in an email for children returning to school. Yeah.
Right.
It's
Yeah,
like,
they're tiptoeing on because the Rainbow Mafia has them so fucking petrified and scared. I mean, you know, if monkeypox was something where the number one and the sole way you catch it is if you sit on the same toilet as a white dude. You think they would shy away from broadcasting that across the whole world? This is the number one way, and this is the only way you're going to get it.
White,
if you sit on the same toilet as a white dude, they would say that specifically. There would not be any dancing around it. But since it's a gay thing, they're like, no, you can't talk about it.
Yeah, if it was you could catch it only from white straight males.
It goes back to the whole thing with AIDS in the 80s. So like, which Fauci was the head of. So if you go back to that, like obviously if you're using the same needles, obviously if you're, if there's, blood from, hospital workers or, or healthcare workers or whatever, and they get it on, get it in a cut or something like that, obviously there's that. But where it came from was that community. And so, so what they're trying to do is they're trying to deflect away from that with the same thing with monkeypox, saying, you can get it in all these other ways. Yeah, dumbass. Obviously, if you get blood on blood contact with someone or you do all this, but where does it mostly fucking come from?
Right. Yeah, it's like abortion. Like, it's the pro-choice people are always pointing like, well, what about rape and incest? They totally deflect away from the majority reason why women get abortions. It's not rape and incest. That's like 0.3%. So they're diverting away from the main way you can contract or the main reason that abortions occur right there. It's just a deflection tactic. So yeah, it's
always anecdotal. Like those types of things when they bring like incest and rape and whatnot, it's always an anecdotal type example of something. I know a guy who knew somebody who had this happen to them, or it's just like, and that's the type of thing where it's like, really.
See, it's not the only way you can get it. See, I told you.
Yeah, it's true. It can happen that way, and it's like, man, like it's so frustrating talking to anybody like that because they can't be convinced otherwise of anything, and it's like so you're talking to a brick wall, even though like they don't want to hear anything else, but they expect you to hear them because that whatever you're saying is wrong. So it's like,
well, yeah, we live in a day and age where that it's a death sentence, or it's a total blow to your manhood or to your status as an adult to change your mind or have your mind changed. It's like, once you take a stance, even if you honestly are being convinced otherwise, even if you're hearing facts and figures that convince you to the other side, it's like a blow to your ego to have to go, oh, hey, okay, well, you do have a good point. All right, I have been convinced. You basically, a lot of people are too stupid to realize, like, yeah, they convinced you this time, but 2 weeks ago, you probably convinced them to something else too. It all adds up. It all evens out.
So here's one that from last night. Even I was talking with a friend of mine, and we got into this topic of a local bar that recently had this whole racial thing happen at it, and Cheers? Yeah, it was at Cheers, and where what happened was
everybody knows your name.
A couple of months ago, there was the owner of this bar and like her boyfriend, they called an Uber at like 2 something a.m. and like Uber shows up. It's a white guy, and they're both drunk first off, and like she climbs into the back seat and she goes hello, and then he says, oh hey, how's it going? I was like, oh, you speak English? How nice. And then like so like she immediately said something stupid. Now, was it really racist? Not really, but like it was stupid. It was stupid. And it was
or maybe she got like 10 Uber drivers that didn't, and she was like, "Oh, this is amazing! I can have a conversation."
Hold on. Let's all like buckle in our seatbelts because it doesn't stop there. Okay. Okay. So like, I know you're all ready to go off down the gates and be like, oh, I know, I want to tear this lady apart. Hold on. So like,
no, I don't care. I'm agreeing with her.
Well, she did that, and then he got a little pissy. He was like, well, why do you think I wouldn't speak English? And he said, well, because a lot of Uber drivers don't speak English. And then I was like, why? Why do you think that? And then she just like, I don't know. So, I don't feel comfortable with this. Get out of my car. So then he kicks her out while the boyfriend's walking up to the car. Now, the boyfriend's ready to try and get in, but she's like, no, he won't pick us up. He won't take us. So then he drops an F-bomb. And it's all on camera. And
the Uber driver or the boyfriend?
No, the boyfriend. The boyfriend called the Uber driver, who's a white guy, mind you. He might be like a one-drop rule for like Hispanic, but like, like so he just kind of like, oh, well, it's all on camera, blah blah blah. I got you calling me an N-word, like, on camera, and then he takes off. The whole thing's all over Facebook and whatnot. The whole area is going nuts because bar was like a popular spot for local bands to go and play at, but now like they're just like every single meme about that place is all like white supremacist this, Nazi that, blah blah blah. So no one will touch that bar with like a 20-foot pole or come near it. And like they recently got like a new lady trying to book entertainment there, and they tried to like rebrand the place and this and that, but it's still the same owners currently apparently. And
wait, hold on. You're telling me that because of a patron of that bar that went into the Uber, the bar is getting?
So the lady was a part owner. Her boyfriend, who is not affiliated, but the fact that he's always there and like apparently has made like staff and made a lot of other people uncomfortable. We're not defending this guy, by the way. This guy is a piece of shit. He's a piece of shit, and like obviously for him, like trying to like use first off an irrelevant racial slur. Like that. He's an idiot and a racist. So like we'll
he was going through the racist Rolodex in his brain trying to figure out what term to use, and it just landed on the N-word.
Yeah, what do I call you? Yeah,
he skipped A through M and went straight to
N-word. But we started talking about this last night, and that I told her, is like, all right, we're not here defending the guy and what he said and what he did like to the driver by any means, but I have a problem with the driver because the driver put that fucking video out there when let that shit run off his back like water off a duck's back. It could have been nothing because like first off, he's not black. Secondly, those guys were drunk when he picked them up after 2 a.m. Like, honestly, they needed an Uber at 2 a.m. They're drunk, and they're trying to be responsible, but instead you left them on the side of the road, which, that's his choice. He didn't want to drive because he didn't feel comfortable. So I can't get mad at him about that. But I'm just saying, like, so he took that video where he didn't have to post that online. He posted online. Now, the staff there, like, there was only like 1 or 2 bartenders and like a cook or maybe 2 cooks tops. They're not
losing their jobs.
They're going to be losing their jobs, or like they are just going to be hurting for money or this or that. So you're affecting other people's income by doing something that you wanted to be a social justice warrior, and put something online.
So real quick, this guy is culturally appropriating a slur because he's not black. So he's culturally appropriating outrage about a slur that he shouldn't be mad about.
Well, I think he was he was trying. Yeah, I see what you're saying, but I'm saying I think he was trying to be like the spokesperson for like that isn't right. You shouldn't.
He was a white elite that thinks like black people need his protection.
Well, he's definitely not an elite if he's driving Uber. But
elite is
he's elite in his mind.
But
I'm one of the ones.
I used to drive for Uber and Lyft, and like there were some shitty people that I had had in my car, and there were definitely a couple of times where I was like, "Hey, dude, like you need to chill." You know what I mean? Like, but what she said wasn't, "Hey, Bean." You know what I mean? Like she didn't say anything fucking like shitty like that. Like but she was like, that's why I was saying before. Like, what if she just didn't experience anyone that was in that area that was able to speak English or have a conversation with? Because I would have conversations with people all the time when I was driving. Like, oh, hey, how was your day? Where are you going? What's going on?
Yeah, but like now in this day and age, like everyone's got itchy trigger finger on the whole being offended.
Yeah, and they're itching to have that viral video to where they can get some kind of like social credit fame, where it's like, oh yeah, I was the one that posted that video.
I want to be the Greta Thunberg of my town.
Yeah, like he's gonna be the next guy to go on Dr. Phil and sit down with like Matt Walsh. Like, so again, tell me, why do you feel like you need to say this? Like, so it's just like one of those. They need to. Like,
and then just what is an N-word?
So, Seth, how did you feel when you were driving that Uber and that non-enlightened lady said that about you speaking English? How did you feel?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I was like really offended.
Yeah, so we're talking about that, but like when we were talking about this whole thing, and I was bringing up the fact that like I had an issue not only with the guy but also with the driver for like affecting other people's income. Like the response was, so why don't you think that those staff workers were already looking for other work? Like that's not the argument. That argument is basically saying,
and they don't know that they're looking for other work.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, so like, but that's it. That's so like, I don't know.
That's their argument.
It's gaslighting. It's
how
gaslighting,
do you know
and
Trump
it's
didn't
not
want his
a story at all.
How do you know that? How do you know he didn't want his home invaded?
How do you know they weren't looking for work? How do you know that they were looking for work? It's like none of that applies to actually is fact.
Right.
Like what you actually know is that, all right, you absolutely did affect that guy absolutely did affect other people's income, whether they were going to work there or not work there in the near future. It doesn't matter. You're affecting somebody else's income.
It's one of those things too where you got to know. I'm not saying at all that dude, not the driver, but the other guy, the guy who used the slur, is right in any way. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is that the driver working, obviously giving rides to people, working at the time period he was working, because that's usually when bars let out or whatever. But like, how is it not on him knowing that like, hey, when you're gonna go pick people up at a bar, there's probably gonna be some drunk shit said, and not everyone is 100% of sound mind when they're talking. Not giving excuses, but I'm just saying, like, you should know your crowd, you should know your area that you're working in, and the type of business you're getting into. So like, why can't you just be like, dude, they were just drunk, like whatever, and then maybe because you with the app, you have the ability to message that person or whatever, and just send them a message later, be like, hey man, y'all should maybe like you said some things last night that weren't very becoming.
That's such a pussy thing to do. Just let it go.
But I'm saying, if anything, if anything, that would be the move, not to try and get this bar in trouble and then whatever. But
no, so this is what you do. This is 100% what you would do if you felt like you were pissed off at what they said and you didn't want to drive. And you tell them get the fuck out of your car and you don't take their fare. You return the fare and you go. That's it. And that's where it ends.
If anything,
or you just ask them you act like a human being. Go, hey, what do you mean by that? What do you what you would have done 40 years ago, right? Where you're just like, what do you mean by that? What does that mean? And then give them a chance. Stop assuming that everyone's a Klan member, and just
hey,
when they explain.
I'll be completely honest. I've been called that before while on the road because of some road rage, and it stopped me in my tracks, dude. I was getting off the freeway, and there was this big big ass truck, like a delivery truck, whatever, and he cut me off, and I'm in a Civic, a little 2018 Civic, so I got a little bit more get up and go than he did in a truck. So well, fuck you. If you're gonna cut me off, I'm gonna cut you off because I'm kind of a dick too. So I went around and I cut him off, and then he honked at me, did the whole thing, whatever, and I flipped him off. Just the polite discourse you have on the road. And then he came up around the side and goes, what the fuck you babe? And I literally was about to be like, what the fuck, like start going in on him. And then he said that, and I just literally I was speechless. I was like, dude, I'm like, wait, what?
Right. Yeah, it's I've heard black guys or black people calling people of other races that word, and I think it's just kind of a go-to, right? Or when you're really angry, it's just this instinctual word that comes out. You don't mean it in the way that, say, Klan member Bubba would mean it. You just mean it as a fill-in word, right? Or something that shocks the shit out of out of white boy Roy that gets called the N-word.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say it in like Biden would. I wouldn't.
At least he sniffs your hair At least he sniffs his hair and he says it gently in that creepy whisper.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he was a big old
poor kids can be just as smart as white kids.
Yeah, exactly. The Negro leagues.
Yeah. Obama, he's fresh, he's clean, he's one of the clean ones.
Exactly. He's what is it? Was it intelligent? No, it wasn't intelligent. It was something. It was fucking great.
Yeah, he's one of the ones that doesn't smell like BO and fried chicken. Come on. Yeah. Man. He's one of the good ones. Yeah. This is the guy that got 81 million votes. Kiss my ass.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we're kidding, Twitter. Just kidding.
Yeah. Yeah. We 100% accept the results of the election. Our fearless leader.
And when I say 81 votes my ass, I meant I'm sure he got 91.
Well, he probably got one out of my ass. So.
Yeah. Most freest and fairest election in the whole universe.
Yeah, exactly. So ridiculous.
Yeah.
So ridiculous.
Did you guys see the Steven Crowder parody? They did a Baby Shark.
Oh yeah, I just came across that one tonight.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
Well, he got suspended from Twitter like a week, right?
He did, yeah. I watched him
because of Carrie Lake.
Yeah, Carrie Lake. Yeah, Carrie Lake was Carrie Lake got him pinched.
She was talking about the election, and she was actually talking about Arizona's election too, and saying that even though she won by a landslide, that there were still improprieties. There were still things that need to be looked into. And it's like she won, and she's still saying that there was something wrong.
Yeah, well, so Carrie, the initial thing was he got kicked off of YouTube because of her when she was she brought up the election with Joe Biden, and when she brought that up, even though she said that she can, didn't, she accepted the fact that Joe Biden was the president, she had issues with how things were done and this and that, and how they just kind of let some of the counting go anyway. And then when she was talking about her own election as well, same type of thing was coming up. He got kicked off of YouTube, and or was it banned for however long. And then same thing now with Twitter. Twitter, he's been banned on, or whatever the hell they want to call it.
I think it's like a suspension for like 2 weeks or something like that.
Something along those lines. So like all of that was going on. And then I watch him on like the Mug Club and stuff like that. So I try to like
you pay for it.
Yeah. I pay to get all the exclusive stuff, but
nice.
Yeah, well, I support the independent creators.
Yeah,
how is it
back it up with cash.
Ivory Tower?
What's that?
I said, how is it up there in your ivory tower?
It's quite glorious. Up there in your look down upon you minions every once in a while and see how the weather is.
View. Yeah.
Please, sir, more content.
It's just very
more content, sir. Please, may I have more content?
It's just ridiculous how after Trump got in, it was completely okay to say Trump stole the presidency. Trump. Russia. Then
alluded with Russia.
It was talking about Russia and then Ukraine and then the Steele dossier and then all this shit. But then when it comes up to like, hey, there's some improprieties and some things to actually look at when it comes to Biden, you can't talk about.
So for 4 years they're talking about like how Trump only won because of Russian interference and that election was rigged. But nowadays, if you even whisper Dominion voting machine, you're kicked off of Twitter.
Exactly. It's almost like with us talking about fucking Stranger Things a minute ago, it's almost like fucking the Mind Flayer, dude. It's a hive mind. You know what I mean? Like it's just like the person at the top, whoever's the on TV on the fucking mainstream media, shit, and then the hive mind just reacts. And then you say one thing to a lower part of the hive mind, like the fucking the demodogs, basically. You say you do one thing to them, then it affects everyone else, and they all fucking attack you.
You say quid pro quo, and they're like, what?
Right.
But you say P-tape, and everyone's like, yeah, see?
Well, like the one thing that the left never got straight, they could never figure this part out was
the left is not straight.
No, this is the part of the story that they could never get right. That is Trump a evil genius or is he a retard?
Yeah, Shapiro
what is
said
it
best when he was on Bill Maher. He's like, he's either an evil genius or he's stupid. Like there's one, you can't pick one or the other. And then Bill Maher, well, no, he could be both. No, you fucking
and he tried to, and he said like, I know. I remember that interview. He said, I know, like it's very I don't know, like it's inappropriate to compare anyone to Hitler, but he tried to say that like was an evil genius and an idiot and stuff like that. It's like, no, you're kind of taking things out of context with all that. It's like, you're trying to say like, oh, he was an idiot for what he did, but like he was an evil genius because he thought of it. I was like, what? No, that you can't classify it that way.
He's a Bond villain and he's Joey Tribbiani from Friends.
Yeah, no,
how you doing?
Yeah, you can't compare the two when it comes down to that. Like, so that's where I don't agree with that either. It's like, and they try to say when it came to the quid pro quo, did he intend to say those things, or was it just like he's shooting from the hip and just this is how he talks to people? I honestly believe this is how you talk to people, and like that's like so it felt very like genuine. So I would fall more into the line of like, hey, he was probably just being like a special R-worded.
Yeah, he was a little TikTok.
Yeah, he's like a bull in a china shop, so naturally he's gonna ruffle a bunch of feathers.
Oh, yeah.
You know what? Fucking New Yorker.
Like, he's a New Yorker. He's a mall boss.
That's how they kind of talk. Like it's that brash fucking. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's a totally different way of speaking. And to, like, a California fucking liberal, they're going to be like, oh, my God.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So, Madge Smith, from Akron, Ohio, isn't going to understand that, that Trump, that he's in that, he's kind of, he's in that, he's got an in-your-face kind of way of talking, or he doesn't give a fuck what you think.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Well, hey, I was gonna say thanks for jumping in, doing all this. We were talking about a lot of stuff tonight, movies, but unfortunately, I won't be able to do a live stream tonight. I have a big trip kind of like coming up tomorrow, and I'll be out in Louisville, Kentucky. We're gonna try and do a live stream while I'm at the hotel.
Sweet.
Yeah, we'll see how that works.
Very
out.
dependable internet, I hear, on the road.
Just you need to just keep your hands visible in the camera at all times in your hotel room.
Yeah. No tubing.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't be tubing your tube.
So we're probably gonna do one tomorrow night a little bit later than usual, like 6:30 my time, so like 9:30 your time there, right, Shawn?
Yeah, because I figure that's probably when I'll be able to get into the hotel or whatever.
And then next week is gonna be regular schedule, right? Monday for stream.
Yeah, regular stuff for next week. Yeah, it's just this week is a travel week for me, so it's a bit hectic.
And then Wednesday is when we're going to be doing the Stranger Things stream. So movies, we'd love for you to be on there.
Yeah, definitely. I'd love to. So when you say Wednesday, you talking about like a day after tomorrow or a week from?
No, next Wednesday.
Okay, so not this Wednesday, but a week from this Wednesday. Okay, gotcha.
We figured since it's going to be, and also I'm planning on trying to make a new like a special intro for that one where it's Whiskey Capitalist, but it's Stranger Things intro.
Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, it gives you all kinds of options, man. Get like a kind of an 80s feel to it, you know?
I'm going to actually do, because I found the font and I have the ability to make the outline, like the neon, like cool looking outline and whatever for the Stranger Things logo. And I'm going to put, I'm going to find the font for the actual, like, where you can, the credits, where it says, like, you know, Winona Ryder and David Harbour or whatever. I'm gonna put Shawn Cav and Til Death and Movies MERICA and like presented by Til Death Podcast Network and whatever. Make it fun.
That's badass, man.
I want to try and like figure out a way to take the Stranger Things music intro, but without getting copyright.
Can you flip it? Can you almost like
I'm either gonna try and reverse it, but then that might make it sound funny, or just pitch shift it.
Yeah, kind of like do some different tones, some different notes or something.
Oh, yeah, you know, you do that whole like lo-fi kind of thing and put it in between keys or something like that.
I'm gonna just try and pitch shift the whole thing so it sounds different. It's like the same melody or the same whatever, but it's a different pitch, so hopefully that'll do something to it. And if not,
maybe if you really want to get fancy with it, you kind of like make it drop like a note or something like that. You kind of like it's the whole riff isn't in there. It's just like maybe like one little note of it is like missing or something like that. Because I mean, it totally worked for Vanilla Ice. Ding 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 ding. You know.
Ding, ding. Yeah, exactly.
Or just do the song exactly like they do, but every once in a while put come on. Come on. Feel the vibration. Come on.
Go ninja, go.
Gonna make you sweat, baby.
So I'm gonna try and do that, and so it'll give me some time to get that done, because I got fucking 7 other episodes of shit of live streams that I gotta clip out and do all that stuff too, because But
does StreamYard let you do all that stuff within StreamYard, or is that like, I'm assuming you're using like additional software to do that?
Oh yeah, I got After Effects and Premiere and the whole. Luckily, since my wife has a big girl job and she works for city government, they don't really ask her what she needs all these things for, so they just got her the whole Adobe suite.
Nice.
And so she's like, "Yeah, here's my password." I was like,
absolutely.
Yeah, so I'm like, "Babe, keep that job, please. Keep it, helps. It works."
What do you do? Take all the shit you need to take at work, there, honey.
yeah, and then I just go on YouTube and fucking, how do you do this? How do you do that? And then whenever I get caught on something, so.
Nice. Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, I'm stoked for it. I think it'll be fun. What I would say is, if you're going through it, kind of take any notes of something that you noticed that was like odd, or like that you want to talk about for each of the seasons. And then and then what I think we'll do is we'll go through the seasons like Shawn was saying, and then at the end talk about where we each think it's going to go, where they could go with it. Because it's the last season. They're going to tie everything, tie all the loose ends, I guess. and
Yeah,
then
you bet.
what predictions you might have seen somewhere else all on the internet or whatever. So
Yeah, you bet.
I think like Ian and I had a phone call earlier today, and like he was going on about it for probably like 20 minutes. Like, all right, let's save some of this conversation for when we do the episode, because it was a lot of good stuff. Like
yeah,
a lot of good
I get
ideas.
excited. I get excited
Yeah,
about
or you
this
can think of it as a dry run. You know, like because no one's saying you can't talk about the same thing twice, right? So it's kind of a dry run.
I understand.
So that way you're doing it better the second time.
I think Shawn gets impatient. I think that's what it is. I think he gets impatient. He's like, no, we have to wait. We have to wait and do it at the same time.
Shawn, you don't open up any Christmas gifts on Christmas Eve, do you?
No, because like, it wouldn't be authentic. It wouldn't be a good Christmas present. It would just
You
it
never
would ruin
shook your Christmas presents? You never like shook them like, oh, what's in this?
No, I've never shaken Christmas presents. When I was a little kid, I've looked for them in my parents' closet, obviously, but like I've never, as an adult, never once tried to go and ruin a holiday by like, oh, I want to see my presents early.
Mommy, I went to go look for my Christmas gifts, and all I found was this vibrating rocket.
So you live with no joy in it. Okay, cool. That's
none. All right. Well, I got to roll with that one, guys.
All right.
And on that note,
go drink that cranberry juice.
Yep. All right. Later on.
All right. Later on, dudes.
All right. See you guys.